C'est l'histoire d'un mec qu'on tenait pour acquis.
I'm a total idiot.
Le remplaçant d'un feuilleton qui est devenu le clown le plus beau d'Hollywood.
Okay, now I might horse around too much. I might go a little over the top.
Le nommé aux Oscars décalés qui a fini comme une icône.
What do you think?
On prend enfin la mesure d'un succès instantané qui devait durer.
Hey, you got a sec? I had a question for you.
I got a minute.
C'est l'histoire de Woody Harrelson, une vedette à la carrière improbable s'étendant sur 4 décennies.
Woody Harrelson was born in Midland, Texas. His parents split when he was 3, so he was raised primarily by his mother, Diane, who was a legal secretary. She was also very religious, so Woody spent much of his childhood in the Presbyterian church, and as a teenager, he would actually get up and give sermons.
The shift from, being kind of poor and anonymous to being rich and famous really is, it's quite an adjustment, and an adjustment I think everybody should have to make, and everybody probably would like to make, just to experience it, because it's absolutely mind-bending.
Woody actually credits his introduction to acting to a girl that he liked named Robin. They were high school students together in Texas, and one day she saw him do his great Elvis impersonation in the library, and she said, "You need to be in the theater department." So he ended up going over there. He got cast in a lot of school plays. He fell in love with acting, and the rest is history.
Une vie d'artiste était loin d'être un choix inévitable pour un garçon né dans la ville célèbre pour être le foyer du président conservateur George W. Bush. Mais Woody est passé d'acteur amateur à professionnel montant incroyablement vite.
Woody made his Broadway debut understudying Matthew Broderick in the Neil Simon play Biloxi Blues.
Did you ever get to appear?
Well, no, when I did Biloxi Blues, unfortunately, I ended up leaving early to go do this movie.
Woody's first film was the football comedy Wildcats with Goldie Hawn. Also in the movie was Wesley Snipes. It was his first film too, and they would go on to make 2 more movies together, Money Train and White Men Can't Jump.
He loves a sweet story. I like stuff that's going to get people to come to the movies.
And Woody only had 1 line in Wildcats, but he did manage to get his face on the poster right above Goldie Hawn's.
Même s'il n'était que figurant, le premier film de Woody lui a présenté l'amour de sa vie. Ce n'était pas une femme, mais une ville, Los Angeles, en Californie.
I remember the palm trees, in the airport. You can see the palm trees as soon as you come out. And I went to the beach, and I was like, this is my kind of place.
Et LA aimait Woody en retour. En un instant, il est passé de personne à vedette de la télé. Cheers était une série télévisée américaine se passant dans un bar avec Ted Danson et Christy Alley,
What were you thinking?
dont Nicolas Calasanto dans le rôle du serveur bien-aimé Coach. Lors de sa mort inopinée en 1985, les producteurs ont décidé qu'il fallait le remplacer par quelqu'un de jeune et sexy. Woody rentrait dans les critères. C'était un acteur clé de la télévision de son époque, et à peine 24 ans. La célébrité aurait pu lui monter à la tête, mais il est resté humble et pragmatique.
Well, I figure either John or Kirsty got the soundbite, so I might as well not say anything. Here we go, Rhea.
Il s'en remettait à la distribution lors d'apparitions publiques et était loyal, alors que sa jeunesse et sa popularité pouvaient faire croire qu'il était destiné à mieux.
How much pressure was there on you to leave the show early and do movies?
Why leave Cheers? That'd be crazy. I just never saw the sense in it. It was a great experience from start to finish.
Well, we've been working together for 10 years. Many families haven't been together that long.
He stayed with the show for 8 seasons until it ended, and after the end of it, he was afraid that he would never work again, but luckily he landed a part in White Men Can't Jump. He looks back and he says, "It's a really good thing that Keanu Reeves was lousy at basketball, otherwise I would have been Woody from Cheers for the rest of my life."
Les Blancs ne savent pas sauter était un film de basket, une comédie qui dissolvait les tensions raciales de l'époque, de Larry Bird à Rodney King, dans l'alchimie interraciale de Snipe et Harrelson.
I had to beg him to do this.
Yeah.
I had to almost literally beg him.
Begging, he just begged me all the way to asking Michael Keaton to do it. Yeah.
Begged me about 4 minutes.
I didn't ask
Hey,
Mike. I left him a
I-
message.
C'était un rôle athlétique, Woody a tout donné.
It was a lot of work, you know. I mean, I guess I knew a lot of the moves, but I had to learn some other ones because the people I was playing against were phenomenal, you know.
Woody thought his basketball skills were pretty good when he landed the movie White Men Can't Jump.
My ankle was really messed up. It still is, in fact. I just sprained it again the other day, but, which is always my excuse, you know, if I see someone I really don't want to play.
Les Blancs ne savent pas sauter a été un succès. Woody avait réussi l'impossible passage de la télévision au film aussi facilement que Michael Jordan mettait des paniers. Le prochain but de Woody était de démontrer l'étendue de son jeu avec un rôle dramatique.
Woody scored a big box office hit with the sexually charged Indecent Proposal, starring opposite Demi Moore and Robert Redford. Now, originally the director, Adrian Lyne, thought he was all wrong for the part. He'd only seen him on Cheers. But after taking a look at White Men Can't Jump, he reconsidered and Woody got the part.
If you had to review this film, what would you say?
What would I say? Damn good movie. Go see it.
I read this Indecent Proposal, and it wasn't a wonderful script, but I thought it was a great idea. And I rang up Sherry and I said, you must read this because it's a terrific idea. I thought the idea of whether you would make love to somebody, whether you could agree as a family unit, if you like, to do it as a one-off, you know, to sleep with somebody and get this $1 million that would save your ass, you know, that would get. I thought that was a great premise, really.
Woody said that the biggest challenge was shooting the love scenes with Demi Moore because by that time he had become very good friends with Bruce Willis and he felt a little weird making out with his good friend's wife.
À suivre.
Like I would send him stuff, he wouldn't like it. He'd send me stuff, maybe I wouldn't like it.
Snipe et Harrelson se retrouvent dans le Money Train et...
Can you tell us what you're expecting tonight?
Lace.
Woody et Oliver Stone mettent le monde à feu et à sang dans le polémique Tueur-né. En quelques années, Woody Harrelson a quitté la télévision et démontré qu'il pouvait passer sur grand écran. Son prochain film enterrerait sa réputation de comédien léger à jamais et prouverait qu'il est un acteur ambitieux et varié.
Woody surprised audiences with his dark turn in the serial killer movie Natural Born Killers. And here's the cast: Woody Harrelson, Tommy Lee Jones, Juliette Lewis, Robert Downey Jr., and they're directed by Oliver Stone. So looking back, Woody says it was a crazy time with a crazy group of people, and he was the sanest one in the whole bunch. He says it's never happened before or since.
Sur la base d'un scénario de Quentin Tarantino, Tueur-né suit deux tueurs en virée sanglante, Mickey et Malorino, à travers les États-Unis. C'était un projet de véritable acteur et bien loin de Cheers. Étrangement, c'était aussi un de ses films les plus personnels.
Woody says that he gets his sweet side from his mother. His father is another story altogether. He left the family when Woody was a child, and he was eventually put in jail for 2 murders.
Si s'imaginer à la place de son père a eu un impact durable sur Woody, il la tue. Il rigolerait plus tard en disant que le film était une excuse pour changer de coupe de cheveux.
You know, I like to shave. You know, me, I get, natural born killers, but, any chance I get, I like to shave, as much as I can.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Eddie Murphy.
Pour récupérer, personnellement et financièrement après Tueur-né, Woody a retrouvé son plus vieil ami professionnel, Wesley Snipes.
He is one of the most interesting, fun people to act with,
I like things with style. I like things with flavor.
If you want to ad-lib with him, anything you throw at him, he's going to come up with something to top it.
Why did you cut off your blonde hair? I liked it a lot.
Oh, because you're German. Plus, my roots were showing, and I had to get rid of that stuff. I couldn't get my roots retouched.
He's like a comic genius in my mind, one of the funniest people I know.
Money Train était un film de copains dans le style de L'Arme Fatale ou de Rush Hour.
This was our first, I guess White Men Can't Jump was an action movie in a way. But
Sports film, they call it.
yeah. So this is our first real action film together.
Son ajout le plus notable, une danseuse devenue chanteuse montante, Jennifer Lopez, qui a remarqué l'alchimie entre Snipes et Harrelson.
What are you gonna remember working on this movie for, like in 5 years or so?
What am I gonna... That it was the first big movie where I worked with two big stars like Wesley and Woody. I think that's what I'll remember. They're very professional people. They come to work and they work hard and they expect you to, you know, be good. You're there, you better be good, you know?
Comédie ou drame, Woody pouvait tout jouer, se dessinant comme l'un des Hollywoodiens polyvalents. Au milieu des années 1990, même les dons étendus de Woody s'élargissaient, pour inclure la farce. Dans la satire des hommes d'influence, il a aidé Robert De Niro et Dustin Hoffman à simuler une guerre, s'intégrant aisément dans une distribution haut de légende. Dans la comédie burlesque Kingpin, Woody jouait un ancien champion de bowling manchot, arborant une main prothétique qui est devenue une mascotte sur le tournage.
They played with my hand a lot, which I don't like that.
Woody starred alongside Bill Murray in the Farrelly Brothers bowling comedy Kingpin. Bill Murray was actually a pretty good bowler. There's a scene where he gets 3 strikes in a row and it's actually him, and the crowd reactions are genuine. The filmmakers had to do some fancier editing with Woody, however.
My ball just kept missing the pins, missing them all together, gutters. I can't hack it.
Kingpin le confrontait à une performance incroyable de Bill Murray dans le rôle de sa némésis. Avec sa modestie typique, Woody s'est débrouillé pour laisser Murray lui voler la vedette dans les scènes où il apparaissait.
There's times when you don't have to be funny, and when you're around Bill Murray, you can just pretty much shut up.
Woody pouvait se permettre d'être digne. Avant Kingpin, il avait déjà joué son rôle le plus difficile et applaudi dans l'histoire vraie d'un pornographe paraplégique, Larry Flynt.
Woody played the controversial Hustler founder and First Amendment activist Larry Flynt in the movie The People vs. Larry Flynt.
The pervert is back! Pervert is back!
That moment, you know, you start to go so that you meet. Because this is, I don't know where I am.
Now, originally, the filmmakers wanted Bill Murray for the part, but Bill wouldn't return their phone calls, so Woody got lucky, and he ended up getting an Oscar nomination for Best Actor for the role. Woody and the director, Milos Forman, wanted Courtney Love to play Woody's wife. Well, because of her troubled past, no one would insure her. So Woody and the director actually paid for the insurance themselves out of their own pocket. And it ended up being a great role for Courtney Love, and Woody later said that he probably learned more as an actor from her than almost anyone he'd worked with.
Le véritable Flynt était une polémique vivante. Défenseur passionné de la liberté d'expression, Flynt avait marqué les esprits en gagnant un procès anti-obscénité qui était allé jusqu'à la Cour suprême. Woody a admis à contre-cœur qu'il y avait des parallèles dans leur vie.
Poor white trash, kinda,
Yeah, poor white trash.
Strip me of my man.
The Academy didn't manage to come up with an invitation for Larry Flynt himself. So Woody stepped in, and his date for Oscars that night was none other than Larry Flynt.
La vie privée de Woody était aussi solide que sa carrière. Après un bref et désastreux mariage début des années 1980, Woody a trouvé le véritable amour avec Laura Louis, son ancienne assistante.
Woody met his wife Laura when she was working as his assistant on the series Cheers, but he didn't realize that he was in love with her until he had gone to Africa on a vacation, and all he could think about was Laura.
The old you waited new.
So when he got back, he was finally going to tell her that he loved her.
Knew he's got a spirit where before was just a shell.
And he was too nervous to speak it, so he wrote her a song and he played it for her on his guitar. And when he finished, she said, "Oh my God, I've been in love with you too." And they were a couple from then on.
I have simple understandings now and hope that they will last.
Woody et Laura ont débuté leur relation en 1986, ont 3 filles et sont mariés depuis 2008. À suivre.
There's people you're very attached to and you wonder why did they die? Was it worth it?
Woody part en guerre.
I mean, the horror of war, I think, speaks for itself.
Et
Started to read the books and I was just absolutely riveted to it.
il s'associe à Jennifer Lawrence et trouve la gloire dans une franchise en tant que mentor pour les Hunger Games.
know, people tell me, Ray, you get too much personality for one guy, and I know that's true.
Avec un large choix de projets, Woody Harrelson alternait entre art et commerce.
They love me. Action!
Lorsque le légendaire réalisateur ermite Terrence Malick est réapparu pour la première fois après des années afin de réaliser un poème anti-guerre, La Ligne Rouge, Woody a rejoint une distribution incluant George Clooney et John Cusack pour recréer la Seconde Guerre mondiale. Ardent activiste anti-guerre, Woody a paru pensif et changé par l'expérience.
You know, what I think is important is that it just shows the horror of war, the intensity of war. This doesn't herald, you know, you don't get trumpets and we're going into battle doing the right thing. It's just more like here's what it is. You know, here's what war's like. You know, I think Terry's really conscientious about portraying it more realistically. I think it's a really worthwhile movie.
He's a card, that's my brother.
En direct sur Ed TV, prédisait le succès de la télé-réalité. Woody s'associa à Matthew McConaughey pour jouer deux frères dont les vies ordinaires sont changées lorsqu'ils deviennent célèbres à la télé. C'était un sujet que le réalisateur et ancien enfant vedette Ron Howard connaissait bien.
That's what being on TV does. It just kind of raises the stakes, raises the awareness.
San Francisco, California, the greatest.
The movie's funny, and I believe there are a lot of laughs in it, but it also takes a pretty truthful, sometimes kind of painful look at the experience.
Sa charmante partenaire, Liz Hurley, était habituée des tabloïds à cause de sa relation avec le mauvais garçon Hugh Grant. Hurley a vu une certaine méthode derrière l'utilisation des acteurs comme Woody et elle en direct sur Ed TV.
I think Ron was very clever when he cast it because almost everybody in it has, to some extent, sort of have been Ed TV'd themselves, and I think that was kind of quite interesting to have all of us together, kind of laughing at it but thinking, but hang on a sec, that's me.
Woody could be here and sort of move forward.
Ron came and visited me on the set of this movie I was doing, High Low Country, Please Catch It. It's probably out by now. And he came and visited me, and I sat down with him, and I was like, this guy is awesome, man. He's just such a cool guy.
McConaughey, un autre Texan, est immédiatement devenu l'ami de Woody et un collaborateur fréquent.
Woody Harrelson, who plays my brother Ray, older brother, and he and I just had an absolute blast. I can't say enough good things about that guy. As a man and as an actor.
En direct sur Ed TV était génial à faire, mais il n'a pas eu de succès, en partie parce qu'il est sorti avant que la télé-réalité ne devienne populaire. Étonnamment, Woody, qui n'a jamais été motivé par l'argent, grâce à ses gains restants de Cheers, a fait une pause de 4 ans pour renouveler son véritable amour, le théâtre. À son retour, en 2003, Woody a joué dans la comédie d'Adam Sandler et Jack Nicholson, Self Control. Le film a été un succès, mais Woody n'était même pas sur l'affiche. À présent, la quarantaine bien entamée, Woody semblait destiné à ne jouer que des seconds rôles pour le reste de sa carrière. Comme le flic obstiné poursuivant les voleurs incarné par Pierce Brosnan et Salma Hayek dans Coup d'éclat en 2003.
Clearly a guy with a bit of a grudge that he holds against Pierce Brosnan's character. Why? Because Pierce beat my character several times when I was trying to protect these diamonds, and he snatched them right out from under me.
Même les projets prestigieux de Woody semblaient devenir routiniers, comme la réinterprétation d'Erin Brockovich, l'affaire Josey Hames, où Woody jouait le plus gros cliché d'Hollywood, le procureur militant face à Charlize Theron.
She really needed a lawyer, and you know, of course, at the time, in the real story, Lois Jensen, she was floundering. She was having a lot of trouble until a lawyer stepped in.
C'était du lisier doré, mais toujours du lisier. Il fallait que Woody morde le fruit défendu pour retrouver sa carrière perdue. En 2007, Woody a offert une performance courte mais importante dans le rôle d'un chasseur de primes au bas-fond dans No Country for Old Men. Son retour était bien engagé. Il a fait connaissance avec son côté sensible dans Cette vie, dans le rôle d'un musicien aveugle qui retrouve la vue grâce à un acte de bienveillance de Will Smith. Cette vie a été un flop, mais le rôle sérieux suivant de Woody serait acclamé.
No problem. I'll walk with you.
There's just a beauty in the story, a warmth and a compassion to it that is really, you know, it's admirable, you know. The piano part of it was extremely challenging because these are not the hands of a pianist.
Woody got his second Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor for the film The Messenger. He played what's called a casualty notification officer, and these are the people in the military whose job it is to tell families that their loved ones have passed away in battle. And Woody said he spent a lot of time talking to the people that actually did this, and that everyone agreed that it's the hardest job in the whole military.
I really was kind of knocked out by the people I met in the military, and so I have a high regard and a lot of respect for them, but I still, as much as I have come to love the warrior, I still loathe the war.
You got taken hostage by a 12-year-old?
Yeah, well, girls mature a lot faster than boys. She's way ahead of where I was at that age.
Son blason redoré, le dernier défi de Woody était de retrouver son influence commerciale. En 2009, il l'a fait avec l'un des plus gros succès de sa carrière.
The horror comedy Zombieland was a monster hit for Woody, literally.
Zombieland's a movie about a bunch of survivors in the post-apocalyptic zombie world who basically band together because they don't have much else to do.
Face à des vedettes comme Jesse Eisenberg et Emma Stone, Woody était à la fois l'acteur le plus âgé et le personnage le plus farfelu.
In the film, his character is seen throughout questing for Twinkies. That's what he wants more than anything, the snack cake Twinkies.
Whoa, whoa. Jesus H. Christ and low-rise jeans!
It's interesting because tonally, you have this thing where you have to believe that there is this impending danger from these zombies, and at the same time, you have to ride this line of comedy, and so, you know, that sometimes can be a bit tricky.
Woody a fortement impressionné Jesse Eisenberg.
You're incredible. Woody Harrelson is just the greatest. You know, he's so funny and great actor, and our characters kind of play off each other nicely.
Bienvenue à Zombieland était la super production tardive qui a remis Woody au sommet. Après avoir incarné le macho atypique, Woody a prouvé qu'il avait le sens de l'autodérision avec une apparition comme théoricien du complet dans le film Catastrophe 2012 de Roland Emmerich.
The disaster movie format, you have like kind of two things. You have very big images, and you have very small, you know, like kind of intimate stories.
Se décrivant lui-même comme anarchiste, réputé pour soutenir des causes les plus à gauche politiquement parlant, Woody s'est éclaté dans le rôle d'un DJ dingo qui prédit l'apocalypse.
Okay, this is the Charlie Frost Show, reporting live from Yellowstone National Park, soon to become the site of the world's largest active volcano.
I like playing characters that are really out there, and I like to be able to go over the top and for it to be okay. Because usually I just go over the top and it's exactly that, over the top. In this case, there just seemed to be no top to go over. I could just, I mean, it's the end of the world and this guy's, you know, been predicting it.
Comme Bienvenue à Zombieland, 2012 a été un succès. Pour la première fois de sa longue carrière, Woody est devenu l'acteur à qui envoyer le meilleur scénario.
Now, before we begin, we have a very special film brought to you all the way from the capital.
Hunger Games, une dystopie sur des adolescents dans un combat mortel avec Woody dans le rôle d'ancien gagnant qui mentore un champion.
Woody's biggest box office hit to date was The Hunger Games. He said he was so excited to do it because his daughters are all big fans of the books.
You know, I started to read the books and I was just absolutely riveted to it.
I just keep wishing I could think of a way to show them that they don't own me. You know, if I'm gonna die, I still want to be me.
Caesar Wickerman! Thank you! Thank you! Welcome!
I mean, I must have finished them in a week. And that I had tons of stuff I was doing at the time, but I just couldn't put it down.
That's actually incredibly relevant. I thought it was a very important story to be told.
And now the time has come to select one courageous young man and woman.
Un mentor pour Katniss Everdeen, incarnée par Jennifer Lawrence. Woody a choisi un rôle qui reflétait son statut de vétéran pour une génération d'acteurs qui ne connaissaient pas Cheers. La carrière durable de Woody a démontré plus d'une fois que le vieux cliché a tort. Parfois les gentils gagnent, même à Hollywood.
Any other questions?